Hello, so in this video we have a complicated logarithmic and sort of exponential problem. So basically what you've been doing probably in class is you've just been solving for one variable, but in this question we're going to solve for two variables. So before I get started, I recommend writing out as I go. You just copy what I write down because I'm going to have to erase a lot here because this question is going to involve a lot of writing and you might even want to write out the question. So with that being said, I'll read it to you and then I'll solve it. So find x and y, where log base x plus y 16 is equal to -2 and 1 over 3 to the power of x minus y equals 27. So when you see a question like this, the first thing you want to do is you want to try and create two linear equations. And once you do that, it's pretty easy. You can solve for x and y using substitution or elimination. Before I show you the way I do it, I do want to note that there are multiple ways to solve this type of question, but I'm just going to show you the way I think is easiest. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, as I said, is you want to create a linear equation. So I'm going to deal with this equation first. So first thing you want to do is you want to try and represent both of these numbers with the same base. Okay, so if you notice, we can write 1 over 3. We can rewrite that as 3 to the power of -1, right? Because 3 to the power of 1, right? If you move it to the numerator, the exponent becomes negative, so it's 3 to the power of -1, and you keep the exponent with it, and you can rewrite 27 as 3 to the power of 3. Okay, next thing you want to do is you want to use your power law to distribute, or to multiply the exponents by each other, right? And when you do that, you get -x plus y, and now notice how since our bases are the same, they're both 3, we can just drop the bases, and all we're left with are the exponents. Okay, so as you can see here, I dropped the bases. Now we have -x plus y equals 3, and just to make it neater and to isolate for y, I moved the x to the other side, and as you can see now we have our first linear equation. So now I'm going to deal with this equation. Okay, so the first thing you want to do with this equation, we can't do the same thing there because there's a log here. So what you want to do first is you want to convert this to exponential form. Okay, so after you convert this to exponential form, you get x plus y to the power of -2 equals 16. And remember how I said you want to have a linear equation. Well, notice how we have an exponent here and it's negative. So we want to try to get rid of that eventually. So the first step though is to try to make it positive. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over x plus y to the power of 2 to make the exponent positive. And now notice how you can just cross multiply. Okay, and now that we've cross multiplied, we have 16 times x plus y squared equals 1. And now what we want to do is we want to create a linear equation. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide both sides by 16 to get rid of the 16 on the left side. And now that we have gotten rid of the 16 on the left side, so now we have all our variables on one side and all of our numbers on the other side. Now, since our exponent is positive, now we can get rid of the exponent. Now, I am running out of room here, so what I'm going to do is keep this expression in mind. I'm going to erase all this stuff up here, and I'm just going to move this up here. Okay, so I just moved the expression I had here up to here, and now the way you can get rid of the exponent is you can either square root it, so you can take the square root of x plus y squared, or you can multiply this whole thing by 1 over 2. Or you can multiply this exponent with another exponent that's 1 over 2. So it'll look like this. So sorry, as you can see here, I should be more specific, more clear with my wording. We're taking this expression and we're putting it to the power of 1 over 2 so that we can get rid of this exponent here, right? Because now you can use your exponent laws and you can do 2 times 1 over 2, and 2 times 1 over 2 is just 1. And obviously if we do something with the left side, we do the same thing to the right side. So now you get x plus y equals 1 over 4, because 1 over 16 to the power of 1 over 2 is equal to 1 over 4. So now all I did was I just got rid of the brackets because we don't need them anymore, and I converted the 1 over 4 to 0.25. And now what you can do is notice how here, now first of all, we have two linear equations, right? And notice how this linear equation we've isolated for y. So we can plug 3 plus x, we can substitute that for y, and we can solve for x here. And then whenever we get for x, we can plug that back into this equation and solve for y. And then we have solved for x and y. Okay, so just before I solve it, just to be clear, we're taking this expression, right? X is here, and then for y, we're substituting 3 plus x, because we isolate for y here. So then we have 3 plus x, and now we just isolate for the x. Or, sorry, we solve for the x. Okay, so what I did basically was x plus x is just 2x. I moved the 3 to the other side, and I got negative 2.75. And to solve for x, I just divide both sides by 2, and you get x equals negative 1.375, okay? So we solve for the x, and now we can plug this x into this equation to solve for y. Okay, so when you substitute negative 1.375 in for x in this equation, 3 plus, or this is really just 3 minus 1.375, you get y equals 1.625. So therefore, x is this, y is this, and just to confirm that, I'm going to check my answers. So make sure you have all this down, or you can just rewatch the video again if you want to write all this down again. But I'm going to erase all this and check my work. Okay, so the way you can check your answer is you can plug in your x and y values into the original equation. So for this one, you can plug in x and y right in here, and this is supposed to equal 27. And if you input this into your calculator, you will get 27. So therefore, 27 equals 27. That's good. And here, same thing, you can input your x and y into this equation. This should equal negative 2. And if you input this into your calculator correctly, you will get negative 2. And therefore, negative 2 equals negative 2. So therefore, we got the correct answers for x and y.